Hey, what's up, Kimbo? How you doing? What's up? Say hey, hey, hey if you can hear me. I am Benicia's here. Hi, Benicia. How you doing? I see Rob from Stay Bruising. I like that. Beer drinking sisters here. Oh, so you can hear me good, Kimbo. I'm doing pretty good. I'm rocking and rolling. I'm in that frenetic groove that you get into when you have when you're working on a project and have like a deadline coming up. I know y'all probably get that. So hey, Bobby Sue 74, what's up? I think that's my birthday twin. What's up, birthday twin? Or Taurus twin. Yeah, we're both Tauruses. And she's going to be here in town for the conference. So I'm excited about that. What does that say? Fear the NEIPA. Oh, I love that name. What's up? Thank you for being here. Thank you, folks. Hey, Tracy Nicole, Ladybug. How you doing, girlfriend? So happy to see y'all joining me real quickly. This won't be a long live. I just wanted to get on here and bring everybody up to date on where things are at the conference, Crafted for Action. I'm also doing another giveaway from the FREEDOM Homebrew Club, started by Dr. J. That's that virtual homebrew club, and then answer any questions you all may have, and then we'll get out of here. It is my beer break, though, so I'm going to open up my beer. Put this laptop down real fast. Is anybody else having a beer? Because it's 5 o'clock, and it has been a long day. So I'm going to go ahead and open this up. What's up, Nick? I'm using this for my beer break satisfaction, a little Rhythm Brewing. It's her unfiltered lager. Elisa Bowens Mercado owns Rhythm Brewing up in Connecticut. Y'all probably know of her. She is the only woman and only person of color to own a brewery in that whole state. And my niece is married to a young man whose family is from Connecticut, and his mother just came down for a few weeks. They just left a few days ago. And she brought me some beer from Connecticut. She always brings me stuff. She brought me this. And then Elisa also did a birthday girl magic beer, a BGM. And it's a vanilla porter. So I may open that next time we do a live together. Hey, D Hordo 1. Thanks for coming. So I'm going to open my happy hour beer. I'm drinking out of my beer culture glass. If y'all are having a beer, let me know. Just put it in the comments what you're sipping on, if you're sipping on anything. So I'm going to go ahead and pour this up. And in the meantime, let y'all know about how Crafted for Action is going. Crafted for Action is the first ever craft beer con here in Atlanta, Georgia. I am launching it on Monday, which happens to be my birthday, May the 10th. And it goes through May 14th. Next week is also American Craft Beer Week. So wherever you are, you should be celebrating something during that week next week. D Hordo's doing a hazy IPA. Hey, cheers, brother. Y'all let me know what you're drinking in the comments. So the conference kicks off on Monday, on my birthday, with a VIP bottle share. And that's going to be a chance for folks to come out and meet and greet with the moderators. All the moderators who are here in Atlanta will be a part of that. So I planned this conference, which is a virtual in-person and, a hybrid virtual and in-person conference. And it just so turns out, because I'm here in Atlanta, a lot of the people who are a part of the conference are from Atlanta. I see some Terrapins in the crowd. What's up? Hey, CJ. Hey, Jamie, what's up, girl? ATL Bougie's here. Hey. Oh, my gosh. Y'all let me know what you're sipping on. So I planned this conference, and it just so happens that because I'm here in Atlanta, a lot of the moderators and speakers are in Atlanta also. So they're going to join me on Monday at my bottle share, which kicks things off. But even before that, we're going to do a little 30-minute online welcome, because it is a conference. So we're going to make it feel at least a little bit like a conference. But at the very beginning, starting at 7 p.m., we're going to just open up the conference, open up the week. I'll give you guys sort of an overview of what to expect during the week, the virtual sessions, the in-person sessions. And we have a keynote address that night from Al Sharpton, who I'm sure all of y'all know, but if you don't, he is, well, I guess some of y'all don't, because I have people on here who are my non-beer drinking friends. So Al is an authority in craft beer, really globally. And, he lives in Atlanta. He was probably the very first person I met when I started doing anything related to beer. And he's been writing about beer, influencing beer, brewing, collaborating since the 90s. So for a really significant amount of time. So he's going to be kicking things off for us on Monday to kind of set the tone for the week, because it's going to be a good time, but we also mean business. Cheers to Nick. He's doing a Sharing the Love Hazy IPA from Arches and Bottle Share. Awesome. I love Arches. One of my favorite, actually, probably my favorite brewery in Atlanta. I don't know. It's a toss-up, though, because I'm loving Round Trip these days. So one or the other. So that's Monday. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday gets into the meat of the virtual sessions. And every day, though, we do have an in-person session. All of those in-person sessions are ticketed events, so you have to go online and buy a ticket for them. But all of the virtual sessions are totally free. I just ask that you go ahead and register because it's going to stream 2 different places. It's going to stream in the Facebook group, which is a private group, but also on YouTube and on my ABB page. So I just want to make sure everybody has the links and know that you know where to go. So I'm asking people to register so I can email you and make sure you're up to date with everything. And so, like I said, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, one in-person event and panels for most of the day, starting sometimes at around 12:30 and going until about 7. The first day is about innovation and technology. So excited that the in-person event for Tuesday is a tour of Round Trip Brewing, which is my friend Craig and Amy Mykoski's brewery. It's Atlanta's newest brewery, and I think one of the most beautiful ones. But I was super impressed when Craig took me and some ladies from Craft Women Connect on a backstage tour of the brew house, and it was just such a beautiful, well thought out, so precise, and highly technological brew house. I was blown away. And so that's going to be really fun for anyone who's here to come out to Round Trip Brewing and hang out with us. That is 12:30 on Tuesday. So you got to buy a ticket for that. It's limited, only 25 people, because we're still practicing, social distancing measures. At least I am. And so you have to have your mask, but you'll come and you'll have a beer. First beer is on the house. You'll get a commemorative glass from the conference, and you'll get to hang out there with the brewer and his wife who owned the joint for 2 hours and each other. So it's going to be really, really fun day with them, 2 hours. And their space, by the way, is beautiful. So I just want y'all to see that as well. But for the rest of that day, we're talking about a number of topics that are still on the science and innovation track. So the first session, starting at 2:15, is about innovation and taproom experiences. That is hosted or moderated by Ren Navarro, who runs Beer Diversity up in Canada. And it's all about how breweries and beer businesses can make their spaces more welcoming. And that can be through who they hire. It can be through how it's designed, and other number of considerations that we might not even think about. So that's that first session. We have some good panelists on there, including my friend Michelle Turner, who is excited to feast on Instagram. She's a beer writer and just happens to be writing about this topic right now. So that's going to be a good session. After that, we're talking about fun with fermentation. That's about creative alternatives to craft beer. Hold, please. Thank you. And by creative alternatives, I mean anything that may be fermented, but that's not beer. So we're going to have folks on there who, the owner and the brewer of Golda Kombucha, which is here in Atlanta. They do kombucha, they do CBD beverages, they do keef, all kinds of interesting beverages that are not beer, but are great alternatives, especially if you may be gluten allergic, or if you have celiacs, or just trying to have a gluten-reduced diet. We'll have folks talking about ciders and non-alcoholic beers, which is a big and emerging market in craft beer. So that's that session. The one after that at 6 p.m., there's a little break in there. Have time to go get you some dinner and a couple beers. But at 6 p.m., we'll pick back up and talk about the science of brewing better beer. And that session is going to be led by Dr. Bree Chilton, who is the lab manager over at Tucker Brewing. I met her at Arches when she was working there and was still in college, but she just got her doctorate a few days ago. And the other ladies on that panel are also either cellar people or meaning they work in the cellars at the brewery, which requires a great deal of knowledge of science, or they run the labs there. So I'm excited to have Dallas and Des as a part of that session. That's going to be really good. An all ladies session. I just love it. And then the last session that day is technology and innovation in brewing operations. That's from 7:15 to 8:15. That session has some heavy hitters in it as well. It's going to be moderated by Blake Tyers, who works at Creature Comforts. He's the cellarman there and the lead of innovation. And he'll be joined by, I'm sorry, I'm waving at people. He's going to be joined by some folks from Modern Times Brewing, and also, gosh, someone else I can't remember exactly. I can't remember all the names, guys. I'm so sorry. But that session is going to be really, really good. Oh, Alex, who is Alex Williams from the West Coast. She's a brewer. I can't remember the name of her brewery. But some really interesting discussions about, innovation and what that means for the new age of brewing, how brewing has really changed over the decades and where the industry's going. So that's what that whole day is about all those fun topics. Wednesday is Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion and Action Day. And we'll be talking about, first off, so I kind of made this one fit because it's not really diversity, but it's the first session of the day. But it is diversity because it has diversity in the title. It's called Diversify Your Palate. Fun with app-based sensory evaluations. So I met a woman named Lindsay Barr who has worked in brewing forever out in San Diego, California, and has founded a technology company that creates apps for breweries, for beer businesses. And then another set of her business is all about sensory evaluations through an app. So it's all about learning your palate, learning about flavors, how that impacts aroma, how that impacts final taste in your beer. And she has developed an app called the Sample Ox app. And anyone who's in that session, so you got to read the fine print, right? So I need you to go out, and if you're in Atlanta, get Hoptropolis. If you are not in Atlanta and can't get that beer, that's by New Realm. You have to go pick up a Sierra Nevada Pale Ale. And she's going to take you through these steps in the app to kind of train your palate and pick up the things that you should and should not be tasting in the beer. And it's going to quiz you on it. And it's going to compare you to an expert and how close you are to the true flavors of that beer and where you're supposed to be if you're off or on. So it's going to be a app-based, sort of a interactive and virtual class on sensory evaluation. So it's going to be fantastic. Lindsay does these all the time. Check her out. It's called Sample Ox. When you register for the class and when you get the info on the class, you'll get the code so you can download the app for free. And it's just going to be a lot of fun. So, and it's called Sample Ox, SampleOx, Sample Ox. They're on Instagram, and they're also I downloaded mine from the App Store. Actually, it's free, but you have to have a code to join our class, which you all will get. I'll make sure that is posted very clearly. So it's the Sample Ox app, and that's with Lindsay. That's Diversifying Your Palate, 2:15, first session on Wednesday. After that, we're going to talk about the art of storytelling. That is all about highlighting stories that need to be told, and not always, related to beer, but, all kinds of topics. The session is really going to be deep with people who write for periodicals, people who are documentary producers and directors, a very successful podcasters on that one. It's being hosted and moderated by Stephanie Grant, who you may know her from Monday Night Brewing, but she also writes for lots of different publications, Draft magazine, all kinds of really good notable works that she's done. So that's going to be all about storytelling and the importance of highlighting the stories that need to be told in craft beer. After that is the Forever I Love Atlanta collaboration for the culture. That's going to be so interesting. If you're from Atlanta, you know, and even if you're not, you probably have heard of Atlanta Influences Everything. They are a local marketing powerhouse in Atlanta, and really calling them that doesn't probably do them justice. They are all about preserving Atlanta culture. And they've done or are working on a collaboration with the local brewery. So they're going to talk about that collaboration, how it's come to be. My friend from High Gravity Hip Hop, Lennox Mercedes, is moderating that one. And after that, we're talking to women in beer. That was called Change the Face, Change the Game, including women in beer and in this industry. So that's going to be moderated by my girl from Bitch Beer Podcast, Caroline. Go check out Bitch Beer Podcast. I'm on their latest episode, and we talked about the conference and all kinds of fun stuff. But that's that session. It's all about women. And so Elisa Bowens Mercado is in that session. Cheers to her. Let's take a drink to Elisa. Thank you for that. So she's in that session, and a couple of other like amazing women in the industry. And it's going to be just talking about, you know, what that means for us and some of the things that, you know, we may see on the horizon for the industry, or where we see the industry going as far as true inclusion is concerned. At the same time, at 6 p.m., we have an in-person session with, and this is going to be fun. This is going to be a collaboration sort of panel discussion between My Abuela's Food and Second Self. So Second Self Brewing brewed 2 beers in response to or inspired by, you know, the horrific hurricanes that occurred. I think it was Maria in Puerto Rico. I think the first beer they did was 2 years ago. And it was to really shine light on that and the poor response to that, to those relief efforts. But most recently, Luis, who is the owner and operator at My Abuela's Food, went to Puerto Rico because those 2 beers are distributed there. So we're going to talk about kind of how their partnership came to be, what this means for Puerto Rico and for the future of beer, especially for breweries who really want to create true relationships in diversity and in diverse spaces. So that's at 6 o'clock on Wednesday. And the last session that night is More Than a Buzzword, putting diversity, equity, and inclusion principles into practice. That's going to be all about sort of how we can create pipelines and, you know, a chain of events that could set off true diverse practices. What are some of the things we can actually do in our spaces as employers, as beer lovers? You know, what's our responsibility to creating opportunities for people from diverse backgrounds in craft beer? The next day is Thursday, and that session, those sessions that day are all about the business of beer. So we're starting that day off with a home brewing demo. So if you've ever wanted to brew a batch of beer, if you've ever wanted to, you know, just see a good setup and figure out what are all the things that you need to brew beer at home in your garage, this is the session for you. We're going to be meeting up with Corey, who is from Soul Brothers Brewing. He has a fantastic homebrew setup, y'all. Craft Woman connected to beer with him last fall, and we just hung out in his garage and learned so much just by looking over his shoulder as he brewed a batch. And so that class will be all about that, all for people who want to know more from a very experienced home brewer, how to do it, how to get started, the stuff you need to do that. So we're having lunch that day, lunch on us. We'll kind of lunch on you because that is a paid session, but you'll also get a glass. You can bring some beer if you want to share. Corey's homebrew days always turn into bottle shares. They're always a lot of fun. So you can pack your beer for that and come on over to Soul Brothers Brewing. That is a ticketed event, so you'll have to register online for and buy a ticket for that one. But then the next session that day is a virtual one, and the rest of them that day are virtual. This first virtual session of the day is at 3:30, and it's about a community accountability, connecting outside of brewery walls. So this picks up on the conversation where the other conversation left off about diversity, equity, inclusion. This is more about what breweries can do to make sure they are giving back to the communities where they're located. And there are a lot of examples of where that happens and some examples of where it could be a stronger relationship built. So we're going to talk to Dr. J about her perspective on that. Letitia Cook, who is from Beer Culture, cheers to Beer Culture, are a part of that discussion. And then Erin Eigelhart, who is from Emory University and runs an accelerator program that reaches out into communities to give opportunity. That's going to be a really good conversation about sort of action-oriented things that breweries can do. After that, it's a home brewing virtual session for beginners. So we'll have some experts in there. That session is being led by Conso Brewing's William Teasley. He's a very experienced home brewer. In fact, I met him when he was part of Brothers That Brew before they had their professional brewing experience. So he's going to be leading that session and going to have some other home brewers in there just talk about, how to get started. So if you didn't get to go to to the in-person session earlier in the day with Corey, you can tune in for the virtual session and ask any questions of these experts. Jill Malari, who is the the chairperson of the board at the American Homebrewers Association, is going to be on that panel along with Rob Wall from Off the Wall Brewing. And then after that, at 6 p.m. is the Ask an Expert speed mentoring session. So that's going to be fun. Rebecca from Dames and Dregs is going to be moderating that. And we'll have, I think it's 6 different experts covering lots of different areas of craft beer. Will from Down Home Brewing is in that one. Jessica from Reformation Brewing. A couple of other people are in that session. And it's going to be sort of a catch-all. So if you had any question just about anything that has to do with craft beer, you should be able to ask that question in the speed mentoring session and get an answer. It's going to just be, fun and engaging. And Rebecca, if you've never met her, she's one of the co-founders of Dames and Dregs. She and Luis is owner of My Abuela's Food, who I mentioned earlier, are co-founders of that festival. So she's good energy, good human, and it's going to be a really good session. After that, the final session of that day is craft beer and hip hop, cultural appreciation or cultural appropriation. And that's an interesting conversation to have because if you've been paying attention, you've seen some breweries sort of take a little more liberties than necessary in copycatting hip hop culture in the name of appreciation, but it really teeters on a line of appropriation. So this panel is all about, what that means, what the influence is, because of course influence is not a bad thing. The fact that hip hop influences craft beer is not bad, because it in some cases, as we see, a two-way sort of conduit. We see that craft beer is impacting hip hop in some cases. And so that's why we have on this panel, Nappy Roots, who are co-owners or owners, two members from Nappy Roots are owners of, I don't know how many members of them are actually the owners. Let me just say they own Atlantucky Brewing here in Atlanta. And so that's one of those symbiotic relationships where you have someone who's into music, someone who's into craft beer, and what that relationship means for the product here. Also joining them will be Crowns and Hops, and y'all know them from being the biggest brewers of color out of LA, no doubt, from the West Coast, Benny and Tio, and just super good shepherds of the culture. And by that I mean, take a look at their artwork and at their can art and at their campaigns that they run. They're always very relevant. They're always very culturally focused, and they're always done in a very respectful and beautifully honorable manner. Never on the nose with them. Just very, unless it's bold, and that's not the same thing. But just, when you get a chance, take a look at, just scroll through their Instagram. It's really clear sort of what their message is and their voice is. So that's going to be a really good conversation. It's going to be moderated by Keenan Johnson, who's a VP of Urban Radio at Interscope Records. And that's it for Thursday. Friday is the final day of the Crafted for Action Craft Beer Con. And it's going to wrap up with me giving some closing remarks right at 12 o'clock, just summarizing the week and talking a little bit about what I envision next steps will be after the conference. And then that night is sort of the finale party. We want you to come to Atlantucky and hang out with me and Rachel the Great. It's going to be hosted by the Craft Beer Connoisseur, Craft Beer Chris. and we are doing brews and beats, and that is an interactive multi-sensory pairing event that's going to be crazy. I have paired up with Rachel the Great, who is the founder of I Beat Daily. She has done beat battles and producer battles here in Atlanta for decades. And so she's bringing out 12 female producers who we are pairing with beers. So the week before this Friday, I'm going to meet up with these 12 producers and make sure they have the beers that are going to be featured for the pairing. I'm pairing them as a group of women with a beer. So they get to take that beer, go home with it, spend a week with it, and see how it inspires their creativity. And then on Friday, May 14th at 8 p.m., we'll be at Atlantucky, where they'll present their beats. We'll be tasting the beer at the same time that they're talking about those beats and experiencing sort of their moment together. Folks from the breweries who we're working with, and those breweries include New Realm, Creature Comforts, Monday Night Brewing, and Reformation. We have 4 very different beers that we are using to pair with the ladies. So that's going to be so interesting. And that is going to be the final event, the finale, and it's going to be so much fun. Tickets are being sold for that, but they're very limited. So you'll want to go ahead and get those before they're all gone. And that's the week. So if you haven't registered, go ahead and do that. If you haven't bought a ticket, you should do that too, because I'm only selling very small amount of tickets to the in-person events. Next year will be different. Next year we'll be in person, doing all this stuff in person. But I just want to still be safe. So I'm excited about what's coming up. And I'm excited about y'all being a part of it. I wanted to thank Craft by EDU. That's Dr. J's foundation. She and her board donated 5 of her homebrew kits. She just started an organization, or really a virtual homebrew club called FREEDOM. And FREEDOM is a long acronym that is all about not just homebrewing and learning about the art of homebrewing, and it's open to anyone of any skill level, but also social justice. So periodically, on a very regular basis, they're going to be highlighting a nonprofit or doing community service, some way to give back to the community. So I'm giving away one of those right now. Like I said, FREEDOM is an acronym. It stands for something. And if you could, the first person who can go into the comments, Google it. You're going to probably have to Google it, but tell me what FREEDOM stands for. What is the acronym that FREEDOM stands for? FREEDOM is an acronym for what series of words? And that is the first person to put that down there in the comments correctly will win the homebrew kit from Dr. J. Shout out to Dr. J, who has just been so phenomenal and supportive of me, and who's given me so much guidance and help throughout this planning conference. Jim Blair from New Realm has also been such a huge help. But yeah, so the first person who can tell me what FREEDOM stands for in the comments, FREEDOM. It is the acronym under which this homebrew virtual club and social justice club is being called, founded by Dr. J, or Craft by EDU. But it's a fantastic group. I was going to read a little bit about that in a minute. But I'm also going to have a sip of my beer. And let me know what you think of the conference, if you think anything is missing. I know I was doing a lot of talking, guys. But yeah, let me know if you have any questions, if you had any errors or any any challenges trying to register for the conference. Let me know. Facing real exciting energy developing out of miracles. That is very good, Jamie, but that is nowhere near it. But if nobody guesses it, I'm going to give it to you, because that's a damn good try. What y'all drinking? Y'all let me know what you're drinking down there in the comments. Are there any questions for me about the conference? About, there we go, Craft Beer Empire. Ferment respect and equity every day. You're almost there. You're very close. Good try, Jamie. Craft Beer Pyre. I got a chance to hang out with Craft Beer Pyre on is our mission. That's right. I got a chance to hang out with them. Cool group of people on Clubhouse on Wednesday. They have a conversation every Wednesday night on Clubhouse at 9 o'clock Eastern. I think that's the time. I'm sorry, I am Benicia. They beat you to it. Craft Beer Pyre beat you to it. There'll be other chances to win, I promise. I'll probably give away one more this week on Friday. And then I'm saving 2 for next week during the conference because I want to give out one on Monday during the bottle share. And I'm going to give out one on Friday at the finale event. So, yeah. Any questions? I was talking about something else, but I can't even remember. Oh, Craft Beer Pyre. They are from Texas. I think most of them are from Texas. And they have a really good weekly Clubhouse, good conversation where they interview one person and have a focused conversation with them. So I like the way they do that. Beer and Body MD, what's up? How you doing? Good to see you. So yeah, if there are no more questions, I'm going to hop off this live. I got a lot of stuff to do. Craft Beer Pyre is in Houston. That's right. I thought so. If you just joined, I gave a nice big rundown of the conference. So go back and watch it. I talked about every session that there is, and it's a lot of them. You see that list? Y'all, it's a lot of them. It's like a legit conference, dude. I didn't even know I could do this. And this is just the first year. And I think people, and I'm going to get off, but I just feel like the craft beer industry is having a moment. At first I was going to say that it was just Atlanta, but just from being on Clubhouse and engaging with people on social media from all over, I see that it's not just Atlanta that's having this good community moment. It is a lot of places, and I'm just so thankful for the amount of support I'm seeing, and I think that a lot of people are seeing in craft beer right now, and of all backgrounds and ethnicities and shades. I feel like it's getting to a space of being just a lot more equitable, and I'm so excited where craft beer is going, and I'm just excited to be a part of this right now. I think we're in like one of those golden eras where people will look back and be like, oh, that was a time when Atlanta changed the world. Craft beer changed the world. You know what I mean? So I'm excited about that. I'm excited about next year already because I think it's going to be crazy when all y'all come to Atlanta. A few people are coming to Atlanta. Let me shout out Undeniable Vixen. Let me shout out Mickey Bryant. Let me shout out Hannah Ferguson, who are all coming down. Hannah is a panelist on the women's panel. The other 2 ladies are going to be in town just hanging out with us. It's going to be fantastic. So there are people coming in town. Atlanta already still has a nice group of people here. So if you're in Atlanta, you should be buying tickets to the in-person events, by the way, because I need to sell those out. The goal is next year to have a title sponsor. I don't have a title sponsor, by the way. I have sponsors. I have product sponsors, which is great. And I got, some smaller checks, but I'm lifting this. And that's why ticket sales are important. That's why I had to charge for the in-person stuff. And next year it's going to be a whole in-person conference. But I wanted to make sure that all the virtual content was free. So I'm thankful for the support that I have had. But I just know that next year it's going to be even better. So, but if you're here now, I need you to buy a ticket and come to those in-person events because I want to show the strength of the market here in Atlanta to support a conference, even in the midst of or on the downside of COVID. You know what I'm saying? I had to do this thing virtually because we just didn't know what things were going to be like, and I wanted to be safe. But next year it's going to be different, and I plan to have this sponsored by a big sponsor, and so we can have a good time, have a great time here in Atlanta. So with that, I'm going to close this thing on out. I got a lot of work to do. If you can see behind me, you probably can't see, but I have a wall that's right here. 2 of my doors I converted into chalkboards. This full of paper. I've taped up like thumbnails, life-size page-sized thumbnails of all the conference sessions, all the in-person, all the virtual. It's my war room, just trying to keep myself organized, y'all. So I got some work to do. I'm going to finish my lager, my rhythm lager, and I'm going to get back to work. So thank you for hanging in here with me. If you just joined us and missed us, go back through the live, listen up. I go through all the sessions and what to expect during the week. So I thank you all again for being a part of this ride with me. I'll probably be back on here Friday to do another giveaway and give another update and get everybody pumped up for the conference. All right. So I hope y'all have a good night. And I thank you so much. Take care, guys. Bye.